Today's episode is brought to you by The Art Scene. Visit artscene.com.au.
Welcome to Glazed Over, the podcast for watercolour enthusiasts. I'll take you behind the washes, the dry brush and the horizon lines to ignite your passion of all things watercolour. I'm your host, Tony White. Thank you for joining me. Now let's get stuck in. Hello. Welcome to Glazed Over. This is episode 12. My God, we're at 12. Thank you so much for sticking around, telling a friend, and spreading the love. I really appreciate it. We all do. Thank you. Like from the bottom of my heart and stuff. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to tell you a little story today. But anyway, that's okay. Firstly, if you can go to my website, TonyWhiteWatercolour.com, and check everything out there. It's got links through to my YouTube and my gallery and my shop, which has got lots of cool paintings in it that are all for sale. Support is greatly appreciated. I really, really do. I'm humbled by it all the time, so I really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to this podcast. Tell a friend about the podcast. Tell everyone you want. Take out a billboard if you so desire. I really appreciate it. Now, I've had this episode comes based on a lot of students asking about my journey in watercolour. My journey, I hate that. What am I saying? My journey. My life so far in watercolour painting, and I just wanted to. I wrote this little article last year for the watercolour website Doodle Wash, run by Charlie O'Shields in America, and it's a great little article. And I just wanted to. I'll read it out to you in an abridged kind of way, in a conversational sort of way, and it'll give you an idea of how I came to be into watercolour, and hopefully you enjoy it and might get some sort of inspiration out of it. Fingers crossed. So here goes my life in watercolour. I wake up having dreamed about painting and make my way to the kitchen to make a coffee as the dark golden espresso drips consistently from the spout. I steam my milk. It transforms from a thin liquid into a luscious, velvety liquid that pairs perfectly with the double shot of espresso that awaits as I pour the milk into the coffee to create one of the best marriages in the culinary world. It occurs to me that I need to do a painting using only espresso with no paint. I did that, and although the coffee painting was a long time ago and unsuccessful, it was a turning point. As a kid, I always drew stuff. I was never very good, but perhaps better than the kid next to me most of the time. Most. Gary Finlay, he was good. Brett Peoples, he was good. I remember having a set of water paints given to me as a gift as a kid. They were little round cakes of barely there pigment. It came with a little brush that had about 5 hairs in it. I was probably around 9 years old, I think, 8 or 9. It was great fun. I remember being upset when certain colours ran out. And it was just, it was then that I accidentally started to learn how to mix colours, I suppose. Bit of a necessity is the mother of invention and all that kind of thing. When I was a teenager, an early teenager, I think probably about 13, 14, an elderly English lady moved next door to us and became fast friends with my mum. I hadn't painted since the old cakes ran out years earlier, but I found out a new neighbour whose name was Beatrice was a watercolourist. I was immediately hooked again. Her and her husband Harry, just as an aside, were from the UK, as I say, and they both worked, I believe, for the BBC and radio and all kinds of things. So they were fairly well connected, and I wish I know Harry passed a long time ago, and I'm sure Beatrice would have passed on by now, but would have been great to chat to her again, knowing how obsessed I ended up becoming with watercolour. But anyhow, she was great. She bought me a set of Winsor & Newton artist quality paints with the proviso that I paint with her in her studio. I did. It was amazing. She taught me so much about paint being fresh and expressive and vibrant. I love those days. They were great. I remember Sunday afternoons just in that studio painting stuff. Unfortunately, she moved away. I stopped painting. This whole time, I also played guitar, so music took over for the next 20 years or so, and I went and tried to become a rock star of some description. Not a real good one. Not a real successful one, anyway. I was inspired to pick it up again one day, so I got some materials, set up a spare room as a studio, and away I went. I was hooked again. This would have been around about 2010, somewhere there, 10, 11. I was painting a lot in oils and acrylics back then, but watercolours just got me. It was around that time that the coffee incident happened. It is true that I dream about painting. I did then, I do now. I hate it. I hate the dreams. No, I love watercolour. It's infectious. I began attending workshops with some of the greats in the field, and I was soon inspired to teach a workshop myself. A fellow student in one of my workshops said, "Oh, you seem to be good at communicating this stuff. You should do a workshop here for our members." And the local art society hosted it, and it was full and a great success. I used to teach guitar, so I've always loved that teaching side of things, so it was a natural fit. I love it. I'm lucky enough to have been gaining a bit of a reputation as a good tutor, and having quit my day job, it's my full-time gig now. I'm keeping busy, teaching all over Australia and starting to head overseas with it as well. Well, I was until the obvious happened. And if I had any advice, for anyone out there, it would be just to immerse yourself totally into painting. Be a student of the greats, copy them for a while, but be very conscious to hang on to your own style and your own vision. It takes a long time, and it's forever evolving, so keep going, just paint. I did mention something recently on a demonstration video that I thought kind of summed it up a little bit. We're all obsessed with finding our own vision and everything like that. I think what we need to do is kind of reverse engineer that a bit. Our own vision is already in us. It's innate, it's natural. You cannot manufacture it. It's there. What we need to kind of do is take our influences and use that knowledge in order to forget what they say. You know, like if, for example, if you're looking at a whole bunch of Joseph Zbukvic DVDs or Alvaro Castanet DVDs or anything like that, and you just love their work and everything like that, that's great. Get the knowledge out of those as best as you can, and then try to forget the way they paint. Get the knowledge, but forget the way they paint. Your own style is within you already. You just have to bring it back out, because no doubt you've been covered and bombarded by all of this other stuff. So you've got to get your own out. So be a student, learn from the greats, and then forget how they paint and paint you. Use your painting. You think of it. How many times have you been painting and you have someone else's voice in your head telling you to do this and do that because you think that's what they would do? Try to get beyond that stage and think, what would you do? What do I want to do here? It's important to know what the paint will do when you put it on the paper. But what would you want to do? What's the artist inside you want to do in that moment of your painting. That's what you need to focus on. That brings me to a close on this short and sweet episode. Thank you very much for joining us again, and I will see you very, very soon with another installment of Glazed Over. Thank you very much. Head to my website, TonyWhiteWatercolour.com. Subscribe to everything. That'd be great. And don't forget artscene.com.au, Tony10 as the promo code, TONY10, and you'll get 10% off your order. Thank you very much, everybody. Well, adios, amigos. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please rate and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you are listening. If you didn't like it, your silence is greatly appreciated. Thank you again, and catch you next time.